So thank you for patiently waiting for my new video, The Legend of Payne Rd. I hope I can get this all done in 10 minutes because it's a doozy. And I grew up around here, and as teenagers, we used to go down there and mess around a lot. The first story is best known as a man named Edward Payne. He once owned a very large slave plantation, and he was also said to dabble in devil worshipping. This was bad enough, but then he found out that his daughter, one of his daughters, got impregnated by a slave. Phew. After this news, he completely lost it. He ended up murdering his entire family, and he didn't stop there. He then set fire to the plantation, killing every slave on the land. And this is what is left of it, and this is what I knew it as I was, growing up, being a teenager, going around there. Like I said, it's really sad that he did this. It's amazing how far we've come, but how far we haven't came at the same time. The second legend that has been tied to Payne Rd is that a young man was driving late at night, and he couldn't see the sharp curves on the road. As you can see, the road is very curvy, and at night there is no lights whatsoever. He ended up crashing his car, actually right next to the spot where the chapel used to stand. Apparently, it's once the place where, Edward Payne worshipped Satanism. His car caught on fire. He died a slow, painful death. Bystanders gathered around watching. They did absolutely nothing to try to help the man. It's said that if you drive down the road late at night and pass that particular curve and go over this particular bridge, you might see the headlights of an old Ford following you in typical ghostly fashion, and then the lights vanishing without a trace. And of course, these are the houses that supposed satanic rituals were performed in. And not only then, but also in recent years. Well, when I say recent, I mean 20 plus years ago. Because now, if you try to go down there, there are cops that are waiting to make sure you get out of there because of all of the weird accidents that have occurred over the years. Now, the third and final legend, well, not really final, there's a lot more than you would think. This one is also very tragic. The farmhouse, which you see above me, on the land of his family, after terrible fights with his wife, he ended up coming up to the conclusion that the children were the root of all of their domestic disputes, particularly an explosive fight that led to devastating consequences. The man gagged his wife and bound her to a chair in their living room. One by one, he had each of the children come downstairs and say goodnight to their mom. Sadly, this was the last time, as he took each child upstairs and slit their throats. Now, there was a very young infant. The mother was able to get out of the chair, grab the infant, and run. But he caught her, slit her throat, and then bludgeoned the poor infant to death. And then, finally, this is the Payne Edward Cemetery. And about 15 minutes from the cemetery and from Payne Rd is where the Lawson murders took place. If you watched my other video, you know what I'm talking about. If not, please go and watch it, because people just never cease to amaze me anymore. They really don't. And just for another image, this is the charred remains of Edward's family home, burnt down in 1991. So a lot of this, a lot's older, and there's a lot newer. Now, here are just legends that I grew up with, and I experienced a couple of them, but not as they are like depicted if you try and go look up, the Legends of Payne Rd or other haunted places in North Carolina. But the bridge that you saw the picture of, it said that if you put your car in neutral and you sit there, you put baby powder on your back of your bumper, that your car will start moving, and then once you get out to look, there's little kid fingerprints. Now, I did not see any fingerprints, but the car did start to move uphill. But of course, now we know it's an optical illusion. But still, as a teenager, scared me to death. And the other one that we had discussed previously, and then the one that was in the story about the young man who had the car accident and seeing the headlights and then them mysteriously disappearing. Me and a couple of my friends did see that one time, and I hightailed it out of there because I saw the headlights, but no car. I have many, many more stories I would love to share with y'all, so if you would please follow, comment, like. You can also find me on YouTube and on Instagram. And again, until next time.